So what we're going to work on today and what I'm going to demonstrate in the video is basic techniques for using pastel. The last assignment we'll be doing in the advanced drawing classes with pastels. So I just wanted to do a brief techniques on how to use them. And so what I've done here, there's many techniques, but there's 6 I think that are the most important, and that's why I've gone in here and to demonstrate those techniques. I've drawn these basic spheres with light and shadow and the cast shadow. So I'll be demonstrating those basic ways of manipulating pastels. Now, one thing that I've mentioned in class is the paper. The paper that you use. The paper that I'm using, if you can see here, is Strathmore 400 series artist paper. This one says recycled. And what I like about this paper is that it's smooth on both sides. But most other pastel papers are going to have a side that is smooth, that's smoother, and a side that is rougher. I don't like to have my paper with too much texture. If I want a textured effect, I want to create that with my drawing instruments, or I want it to be intentional on my part. I don't want to have to rely on the texture of the paper for any kind of special effects. So this is the paper I think is that I've come to gotten used for, not only for, I use this a lot for my demos for drawing class. There's Canson, there's Canson paper, there's Arches paper, there's infinite variety. There's also another paper that I like. It's Strathmore charcoal paper, and it also comes in different colors. But it has a very slight texture, a very, very slight texture. Now, what I'm going to do, so that's the paper that and also with your assignment, make sure that you use a paper that has a tone to it. Don't just use white paper. I don't think pastels look as good on white paper. It's hard. I don't know. I think the brightness of the paper kind of fights the technique of pastels. And let me show you just the cover, because I have over here on the side, I have a huge amount of pastels. Well, not too much, but I have a mess, a huge mess, is what I want to say. But let me show you the box, the brand that I like, the brand of pastels that I like. These are the pastels that I like to use, and they're firm or hard pastels. I don't like the soft pastels. But if you really want to explore the medium, try all different kinds of pastels. Now we're going to start with and they come in sticks like this. There's a broken piece, and one thing that I want to invest in is buying pastel pencils. This is a Conte pencil with a same thing that is on the Conte sticks, but it's in a pencil form. And I think I like being able to sharpen the points of my drawing instrument. So I think I'm going to invest in a set of pastel pencils. So let me just clear up the the drawing here. The first one that I'm going to work on. So let me just, I'm drawing this with charcoal here. It's gonna clean up the image, clean up the drawing a little bit, make it a little bit more clear. So this, with a sphere with its cast shadow and its light mask, shadow mask. So one of the first things that pastels allow you to do is blend. So I'm going to show you there's different ways of blending. So let me see here. I'm going to use a green, a yellow. Then, of course, I'm going to model from light to dark. So, to final here. So look, I'm going to use these two. I'm going to use these colors. See, I'm going to use, you can see there, white, yellow, a light green, and a darker green. And in this is just dealing with blending. So I laid down some white. Highlight. And I'm going to go progressively darker. I'm not going to develop these drawings too much. It's right now. I'm just going to apply the colors here. In a little bit, I'll talk more about the strokes that you can use for laying down. I'm just going kind of leaving clear areas, the white, the yellow green, the darker green. And I am going to use a little bit of blue. There's different ways of blending. This is like a phthalo blue. So that's starting the shadow. A little bit more. So this is just blending. This is how you blend. Try to fill it in. Sometimes people just don't lay down enough pigment. I'm putting in a good amount of pigment right now. So you see it looks like a Just looks like one of those when you go play pool. Right. So everything is separated. Maybe a little bit more white. I forgot to put the yellow. I think this is too much like yellow, so I just left it. I just had to use that green instead of yellow. Now blending, you can blend. You look at different books. Like you can blend with your fingers. You can blend with a Q-tip. You can blend with a brush. I'm gonna just do it with my finger for now. And so I'm gonna. It's a very nice technique for. See how nice it blends. The camera's doing something weird here. I don't know what's the matter. See how nicely it blends. There's an issue with the camera. I don't know, it's freezing up on me. So that's blending. Let me check what's the issue with the camera. I'm going to stop the recording, try to see what the issue is. I don't know that there was something weird happening with the camera. Let's hope that it's fixed. So that's blending. It was kind of like stopping on me the recording. So very simple blending. My problem with this kind of blending that it's very soft, and it's like when you shade and blend with or shade with your finger, you kind of lose the form in a way. But you see how nicely pastels work. Uh, Now, I mean, I can. I'm just gonna give this a background. I'm just. And just to go a little bit about into color. So you have this green ball here, right? And put in a yellow background. And so one thing you want to keep in mind about color, see how easy it is to use pastels? Very nice medium. And so here's the shadow. Cast shadows, so of course. Now with the thing with color, with the drawing class, we've been focusing just on value, of course. The drawing class would deal with value. But now that we're venturing into color, one thing you want to keep in mind is that when you have an object, like in this case, a green ball, can be a lemon or any other, can be somebody with a green shirt. In a yellow environment, the surrounding color is going to reflect into the shadow mask. And right now you have, what I have here is what is referred to as local color. It's as if the object lives in a vacuum where everything is green. So we here which have green from light to dark. But in a real life setting, this yellow is going to jump into the shadow mask down here. Very lightly. Of course, this yellow is gonna mix with the green, make a lighter green. But see that, even just that, it helps in settling down the object, making it settle into its surroundings, making it look like it belongs here. It's just a little bit of yellow there. So this is blending. This is just and you guys to do this and upload it to your blogs. So this is just a blending of 2 or more colors. So I'm just gonna write down, all right, up here, blending. It's blending. I'll put 2 or more colors. Now I'm gonna do the same effect of light and shade, but with different colors just for variety. And remember, you also want to get some fixative. Let me see if I have some fixatives to show you. So look, you need a spray fixative, because otherwise, you know, the pastel is gonna crumble away. But the fixative, when you spray it might cover up the color. And you know, it's like, what do you want to do? You want to maintain the purity of the color, or you want to protect the drawing? And there are some risks with protecting the drawing, because the fixative will put a layer, even if it's supposed to be clear, but it's going to affect it. So this is let me, like what I did before. Let me just clean up the sphere. That cast shadow, form shadow. It could be a little bit better, my sphere. I'll try and correct it as I go along. So the next technique, I think it's, I mean, it's referred to by different names. It's called feathering or hatching. I'm gonna put hatching. You're gonna develop this form by hatching. Hatching. That's off camera there. But this is the hatching technique. And like in drawing, hatching, just laying lines in one general direction. So I'm gonna get red, orange. I'm gonna use yellow again. And like there's white as well. And hatching, of course, it's lines in one general direction. Like this. So white. And in this case, I'm not going to blend with my finger. I'm just gonna hatch and hatch away at this. See, they're all going in one direction. And slowly the colors start to blend. So you can see there. And I'll go, see, I'm blending by hatching yellow with orange. And then I can move on to red. As it gets into the shadow mask. And as I've mentioned, I think I've mentioned this in class, pastel offers you the possibilities of really exploring high chroma or very bright colors. And so you want to, when you work with pastels, you want to work vertically like I'm doing here. Red and then orange because it gets a little lighter in the reflected light, then it gets darker again. So it's all and pastel has the advantage that it does not have a so much of a as much of a binder as much as of a glue as other mediums like oil paint and like watercolor or acrylic. Here you've got just pretty much the pigment right on the surface of the paper. So there, we've got building up the values with line. And just for contrast, I'm going to use blue because this turned out to be orange. Use blue hatchings again for the background. And I'll use a darker blue for the shadow. Now again, keep in mind that the blue is going to jump in here into the shadow mask. Then it's an apple. Or a person wearing an orange outfit in a blue room. So this is hatching or feathering. I mean, this can be developed further, but then that gives you the understanding there of how to go about it. Scoot over. And I'll do the next technique, which is a development or expanding on hatching, which will be cross hatching. And this will be cross hatching. But also, well, as I develop this, I can also use cross contour. And I mean, you can see here the difference. When you use lines, it makes the form, I think, more solid. It adds like a structure. Blending with your finger or a brush just makes the objects look very soft and kind of cloudy and foggy. This like solidifies the form. Now here, of course, I'm breaking it up into different, different examples, but you can combine all these techniques on your assignments. So what do I use here? Should I do violets? Let me see. I'm gonna make a violet. With blues and red and white. So again, I'll start with a highlight with white. And hatching, you go in one direction with cross hatching, and then you go in another direction. And so I'm gonna layer in one direction, then the other. Yep, I'm gonna bring this blue a little bit further down here. I'm gonna start to switch to this deeper blue. And like I said, this is already a good example of hatching and cross hatching, right? But I want to make this also to show you how you can blend colors by using this technique. So right now it's just a blue sphere. but I want to make it purple. So now I'm going to go over this with red. Now I'm not going to blend with my finger. I'm just going to one direction and then another direction, or the opposite direction, more precise. And then I can give us some more blue. I was looking to red violet. So I'm gonna keep doing this, and this, I think of all three, this starts to look more solid because it has more line work. And also what you can do is, I'm gonna, this is cross hatching, but you can also do cross contour to really, and cross contour, wraps around the form. Going around, wrapping. My favorite kind of stroke. Now, what is the complement to violet? It's yellow. Well, let me stick to the mark making that I'm using. I'm gonna do hatching. Cross hatching. Or no, it's hatching. Hatching is when it's in one direction. And then if this is, if its surrounding is yellow, the shadow will probably get a little orange. And then this, of course, is gonna, this yellow is gonna bounce into the shadow. See? And then some of that blue violet's gonna jump into here as well, into the surrounding. So that's hatching and then cross hatching. And let's see, move on to the next technique. I'll use this one. This next technique is probably the more laborious, takes the longest. This will be stippling. So I did my secondary colors. Now let's see, let me do. So this will be stippling. And this is little dots. What color combination can I do now? I'll try and keep this like a yellow. And yellow green. So stippling is also the noisiest technique. That's how big you want to make your dots. This is also a way of optical mixing. Let's say like here I'm putting yellow dots. Well, let me do it with, let me change my mind here. Maybe also create the effect of optical mixing. Instead of green, I'm gonna make an orange color. I need to do like a George Seurat. Drop my yellow. It's a very nice textured effect. This is stippling. And what color? Oh, we'll do the opposite of what we did here. Put yellow against green background. And then you would have, of course, this bouncing in here. This green. That's stippling. And you can clearly see the difference of textures and all these effects, all these different shading effects are going to give you. Now, which other one? That one's, I think, also the most annoying one, all that banging, pecking at the. Just some advice for those of you going to education, to art education. Imagine stippling with a classroom filled with 20-some high school students or middle school students. It gets very noisy. Just be aware you're going to be an art teacher. And you tell the students to do an assignment with stippling. Stippling. Now, scrambling. Scrambling is kind of like dragging your drawing instrument. So scrambling is SCUMBLING. This is scrambling. Blues. White. This is scrambling. Kind of scribbles also. Go back with some white. See, it becomes kind of like scribble, so it looks little, gives you like a hairy kind of surface. Now it's dark with blue. I'm dragging the pastel kind of roughly. That gives it that scrambling look. And what background color? Let's do orange. I'm gonna cover up the letters here. Also, when you use a toned paper, you can see you can easily kind of realize you're not adding enough color because you can see through it. It's not that easy with white. And it's always better, yeah, to cover up the whole surface of the paper so that you can build up the pigment and the color really intensely. So this is Scrambling. This is kind of like a complement color scheme. And so the cast shadow, because it would be in a surrounding that is orange, maybe even deeper, maybe almost red. But then, you know, that blue would also kind of jump in here. And the orange would jump similarly in here. There's all this great interaction of color. And when painting gets very exciting, this can be considered the in-between technique. Between drawing and painting, because it has color, but it's dry media. So yeah, that's Scrambling. Those are the major ones. This other one, I mean, this can have a lot of variety. It's just this next one is gonna be just demonstrating how to use the side of your pastel. Since in I think all of these pretty much just been trying to use the tip for like a corner of my pastel stick so that I make a line. But you can also use to cover more area. Maybe on this I started using the side. So I'm gonna use red here, and so I'm just laying, you know, the whole side of it. This would be called side blending or side stroke. And then my white. red and white here, following the shape of the sphere. Some computer's trying to update here. So that is side stroke blending, and I got carried away with the with using too much white. I'm trying to put some blue so I can get some kind of shadow. And I can do a green. I'm just using the side of this. Remember, if you're not satisfied with how opaque your colors are looking, you can add white to it. I'll demonstrate that. White is what makes colors opaque. Some white. It'll give you better coverage. And then into the shadow mask. So that is side stroke. So this is lower this, you can see the name. This is side stroke. So those are your 6 basic techniques for using pastels. So blending, hatching, cross hatching, and I did a little bit of cross contour, stippling, scrambling, and side stroke. Here they're all separated, of course, but you can combine them all together in one piece or one object as you're using this. Okay, so that's the, just a simple basic demonstration on how to work with pastels. And I hope you find this useful, and I will be, this will also be part of your grade. You have to do these 6 spheres with these 6 techniques. Okay, guys, I will see you later.